We are back with the newest chapter of Dragon Ball Kakumei, and Salaga has just killed Bulma. Bulma was in her own designed hideout capsule, a capsule that you can hide in, anybody can go inside, and Salaga just killed her. At least that's what we're thinking happened, but let's jump into this chapter and see exactly what happens next. When Salaga opens his hand, it looks like almost a universe pops right out of the palm of his hand. This leads the lieutenant, the only other person that is still conscious in this fight, to stare at it with a sign of confusion, like she does not know what is going on. And for the first time in this entire arc, Salaga is stuck. He cannot move. Whatever is happening, whatever happened with the destruction of the capsule seems to not only have frozen him in place, but it seems to be whirlpooling him in, almost like the Mafuba. And instantly in his place, Bulma appears. It looks like she did some sort of sorting magic trick where she switched places with Salaga as soon as he destroyed the capsule. The thing is, if he destroyed the capsule, where the hell was he going? The mini universe is still there. Like, what is going on? What did Bulma set him up to do? Bulma looks over and realizes that, yeah, they paid a huge toll in the price of blood when it comes to this fight and protecting Bulma. The protecting Bulma arc has basically claimed several Saiyans over the last couple of chapters, but now the last ones that were left to defend her are all out of commission. They're not dead, but they're definitely out of commission. And then Bulma cockily says, "Don't worry, I'll take care of the rest." And we can see here that KABBA is a little surprised, but he's still conscious, and we have here what looks like to be a completely different device. This is not the capsule that Salaga destroyed. This looks to be something completely different, and the way the whirlpool is heading into the top looks like this is where Salaga was sent off to, the Hoi Poi trap. And Salaga plops inside, and yeah, it looks like he is now trapped in the mini universe, that the pocket dimension that Bulma created inside the capsule. Looks like as soon as he destroyed it, a trap was set and he was placed in this universe, and basically Mafubad with technology. And I love this line delivery by Bulma. "Hello, Mr. Demon. Here's your favorite target live from the vast lands of Sadala." So she can still talk to him through the little microphones on top. It doesn't seem like he can break through that very easily, because then the trap wouldn't work. So whatever is this material is made out of, whatever this machine is made out of, is trapping him in here 100%. Even he seems a little bit confused as to what's going on. "What have you done to me?" She says, "You thought I was helpless prey, and that was your biggest mistake." And I've been saying it for years. Bulma is an S tier protagonist. She is definitely one of the strongest members of the Z Squad, unaffiliated member. She's definitely on the sidelines, more like an assistant than anything. But if you come up against her with technology, like, you're always going to lose. I just didn't think that she was going to use technology against one of the strongest villains in Dragon Ball Kakumei. I did not see that shit coming. And look at my boy, he is sweating here. He's like, how did he get tricked? Like, he's usually on his guard. The only reason that he was even able to find the capsule to destroy it was because he was kind of picking up on the cues of everybody looking at this capsule. He knew that that's where Bulma was hiding, and that's where she was. But if he destroyed it, he didn't know that there was going to be a trap laid, and he didn't know that the Earthling had that much of a technological advantage over him to lay that trap, or even the foresight to lay it. Bulma set everything up. This was her whole plan. Check it out. She says it's far from easy to get out of the Hoi Poi capsule, which I don't know what Hoi Poi means. I'm assuming it's some sort of inside joke maybe, or some sort of hidden lore inside Dragon Ball Kakumei, maybe something I'm not thinking about in the past Dragon Ball. But Hoi Poi, you just crushed with your hands. There is in fact a voice command to be pronounced in Namekian, an almost dead language. So she could have gotten out of there easily by, saying the Namekian phrase that nobody else knows. Nevertheless, if someone foolishly tries to force the opening or destroy the capsule from the outside, an emergency command is activated, and then the assailant exchanges positions with the capsule's host. Once this happens, the capsule transforms completely into like a prison, and there's no escaping out of it. Like, you're basically stuck on the inside. And I love Bulma like describing her plan with Salaga and just kind of explaining like what ended up happening beforehand, and not knowing the extent of Salaga's power before he came to attack them. She didn't know that he was gonna hunt her basically, and she didn't know how powerful he was. So she never gave out any information to any of the other Saiyans, so they legitimately thought that she was destroyed as soon as the capsule was broken. And look at the hoi poi trap. It's like actually way bigger than the original capsule. So it transforms into this thing, which seems to be some sort of like mini prison. And Bulma didn't want to give out any more information just in case this guy had telekinesis. So she basically kept this as her trap card. Like, now you've activated my trap card. That's exactly what the hoi poi is. Bulma kept this secret close to the vest and kept it and mulliganed her chances of basically him destroying it, and kind of bet that he would, and he did. And he's kind of impressed because she's literally like an insect to these people, to anybody really in Dragon Ball, like easily killed basically. But she turned her scientific brain into an advantage to trap one of the most powerful creatures in existence. And she didn't do it alone. Not only was she inspired, like I said earlier, by the Mafuba, but she had help from the Tuffles. Remember, she had been on planet Sadala for a little bit with the rest of the Saiyans before this attack. So she was with them and created this thing just in case they came up against a foe that was really, really powerful that nobody else could defeat, and they could use this. So basically she made an artificial Mafuba. I'm assuming if it can trap this guy, it could trap anybody else in Dragon Ball. Literally Boo, Frieza, Cell, anybody. You're imprisoned, miniaturized in this pocket dimension, and I am safe. Checkmate. And she won, I think. And the lieutenant is completely ashamed of herself here. She says, how could I have given up at such a time, damn it? Because she did. She basically gave up on this whole situation and ended up, you know, not even trying. And we see here that Caulifla literally drops from exhaustion and is bleeding all over the place, and Lieutenant runs over to Peppino to try to help him out. Like, she did give up and gave up the fight way too easily, while the rest of them, even Caulifla, fought all the way to the bitter end. This is what I was afraid of, because they had mentioned this earlier before they even arrived on planet Sadala. And yeah, this is Salaga the magician. He is the master of dimensions. He even was very integral in like the entire dimension that the Venerable Heir was trapped in earlier in the story. So he has been given these dimension powers, or has access to these dimension powers from the get-go. So he says that they've trapped the wrong guy because he can manipulate dimensions 100%. And he says that even these little pocket dimensions, like, I can kind of just slip right out of them. So you basically put me in a prison where I am the prison guard. I can get in and out whenever I want. And Salaga basically reverse checkmates, reverse Uno on Bulma, because Bulma, like, again, she had no information on this guy. She doesn't know anything about him. She doesn't know that he, you know, is a magician with dimensions, or what, a master of dimensions. So, you know, she has limited information on him, and of course she would. So now, yeah, I knew this was too easy. It was too good to be true. Although it would have been a really cool way for Salaga to go out, like just stuck in the little pocket dimension. It would have been carrying him around for the rest of the thing. So yeah, but if anybody broke the hoi poi, then they would be reversed into that dimension and change places basically. So if the Venerable Heir destroyed it, that would be what ended up happening. And poof, he's back out again, out of the pocket dimension. Like, it was literally just like it was a speed bump. This guy is completely overpowered. Caulifla, realizing that, you know, there's still more to go, she actually gets up. And you know, she's actually given a lot in this series, and I actually like her characterization so much better in this. And I think they do ride a lot on how she acted in Dragon Ball Super. So this is very believable Caulifla characteristics. And Salaga gives his evil villain ending monologue here, where he says, look at you, you're all struggling to stand up. You've surprised me, and I sincerely congratulate you. Not many people have managed it, but the time has come to speed up. You've wasted too much of my time. And he's absolutely right. Basically, they've chewed up a lot of his time, his precious time at this point. And yeah, they need to hurry this up along. He needs to get back to the Venerable Heir. With a force grab, he gets Bulma finally. Cabba rushes to try to do something, but he's too slow, and Bulma gets sucked into a portal. Obviously, this guy's the master of portals. I don't know why he was chasing them the old-fashioned way, though, the entire time on the planet, but I guess he's the master of portals, so he can just teleport wherever he wants. And Bulma is officially trapped, and I mean, her days are numbered, it seems like. Peppino asks for his savior to lend a little bit of the ki that they have, because his machine that is in his body that heals him responds to ki. It only responds to ki. So if it gets charged up a little bit, he can actually heal himself a little bit again and be a threat to Salaga again. And Caulifla stalls a little bit by calling him Drag Queen. And when he turns around, we get the funniest face from Dragon Ball Kakumei. This is just like, look at Caulifla here. Like, she is just so goofy. Again, her characterization is just so awesome, and she's literally not giving a shit. And she's like, fuck you, Salaga, you're nothing, basically. She still has the energy to do this after everything she's been through, everything everybody else has been through. Like, she doesn't give a shit. And Peppino, while he's distracted, kicks him in the back, tells everybody do not follow me, and pushes him through the portal he just made into what could only be seen as maybe like the demon realm, but it looks like it's a parallel dimension. Once he lands, he sees that Bulma is trapped in this transparent cube, and he says he's gonna get her out of here. She says she believes him. I mean, it's gonna be tough. The one thing I do realize from just them entering this dimension is the way the art style has shifted now. I mean, the art style is very scratchy. It looks almost like poster board. It just is very, very, very different from what we've been seeing thus far, which makes sense because this is a completely different dimension. And Salaga is still wondering what the hell is going on. These warriors are pushing him around and throwing him for a loop because Peppino literally just signed his death warrant. He has pushed him into this universe that he has no knowledge of and no way to go back. It's basically a death sentence, but Peppino is completely 100% motivated to kill him. He says that, hey, we're both at the end of our rope here, and yeah, if you are willing to fight, I'm willing to fight you, and we're gonna fight, and I'm going to save Bulma. They both power up, and Peppino launches at Salaga. Salaga's trying to use anti-space punch, and Peppino uses his abilities to create some sort of protection right in front of him that will block this attack. The attack is successfully blocked, and Peppino literally just throws his entire body into Salaga, knocking him down using kind of twirling force, but it looks like maybe just the beginning portion of it, like he didn't actually kind of pull the entire thing off. And Salaga does not like the direction this fight is going. He doesn't like Peppino this close to him because of Peppino's abilities, so he kicks him off to try to get him some distance between them. Peppino launches right back, and he's powering up, looking almost like a lightning bolt. Again, he's trying to get as close to Salaga as possible because that's how potent his abilities can make him. By getting this close, he can actually really end this fight. And he hits Salaga again right into the molten lava, and Salaga is just getting so pissed off because he has no real counter to this attack, and since the beginning this has been the only thing that has hurt him. And so he rips off his shirt and he is just yelling, I am sick of you, because he's so tired of Peppino at this point in time. He just doesn't want to deal with him anymore, and he's tired of being pushed back so much when these are just weak mortals. You may be giving me a hard time, but you've no idea how much magic I've acquired over 403,986 years, and I intend to show it to you, meaning that he still has more in the tank, believe it or not. He's got more abilities up his sleeve. Peppino's in a bit of a shock here from seeing like just how much reserves this guy's got. And he says, I'm going to grind you into dust, Peppino. Like, he's going into like some sort of vampiric demon rage. I could honestly say that we can call this demon timer here. And he looks so cool. Look at the detail in this. Like, the artwork in this Dragon Ball fan manga, it's an official manga. Like, this is official manga artwork. It almost looks like Berserk. It's so cool. He says, I'm not impressed, Salaga. And Salaga is like, that's like the final straw. He just like rushes at him, and look at him. He just looks far more demonic than normal. Like, he just looks so crazy here. He's trying to time it right because his hardware is able to block all the blows. He says the blow is coming from the left, so all he's got to do is block it from the left. But that's the thing, the blow doesn't come from the left. It comes from the right with his ability reverse space punch, and it comes into his blind spot. And this completely takes Peppino by surprise, and it looks like it could have permanently taken his left, or his right arm out of commission completely. And he hits him again and again, and Peppino's realizing he can't take this sort of beating for far too much longer. Like, he's going to die if he keeps going. The thing is healing him, but there is going to be a limit. And Salaga's just like, oh, our dear scientist is activating his defense mechanisms. You seem to be running out of options, meaning that like he is at his end when it comes to his tricks, because they both have tricks up their sleeve. One is magical and one is technical. So Salaga throws a bunch of black smoke right into his shield. This smoke could possibly be toxic to Peppino, and Salaga says this is going to get you out of that shell. He's using almost like 9 grams palm rotation, or like a sphere or a barrier sphere. So yeah, Peppino launches out of there, and he says, this guy literally won't let me breathe. This is like a really good fight. Like, it's very, very strategic, which is something that we don't see very often in Dragon Ball. The smoke begins to surround Peppino, but it's not actually smoke, because the smoke is connected to Salaga, and Salaga is able to grasp onto Peppino, and he seems to be like sucking his soul out, or maybe his air out of his lungs. That's exactly what it is. Salaga is stealing his vitality, his ki, his soul, and it's a technique that he's learned just recently, a few hundred years recently, while he was trapped in that dimension with the venerable air. He is sucking out the entire soul of Peppino, and this could be the end of him. But instead of his soul coming out, it's actually his artificial buddy KABBA coming out of his mouth. And KABBA punches Salaga, then transforms into armor around Peppino, and it looks like stabilization 100% complete. Post, he's activated armor mode around him. This seems to be more likely the last straw that Peppino has against Salaga. Bulma's impressed, but Salaga is not. He is done with these tricks. He's ready to take Peppino out completely. KABBA, so you were evolving on your own all this time. Let's see how much it's worth, meaning that his artificial entity has been basically working on the side to better protect his master, essentially. And this guy makes him strong enough to not only catch up quickly into Salaga's chest, but push him through molten barrier rock all the way across the planet's landscape, and it looks like it made him on equal footing strength-wise with Salaga. And Salaga punches him back, and yeah, it's a very hefty punch, and he's bleeding a lot here, but he could be dead if he didn't have this armor on him. And Salaga is impressed with Peppino 100%, but I mean, he's got to do what he's got to do at this point. He's taking way too much of the Venerable Heir's time dealing with this guy. And so he says, stop this if you can. Finally, we're getting to the finishers, and he, I don't know, transforms into Goro, this ability that grants him several more arms. I'm assuming he's going to attack him with ki from each of those arms, making or amplifying his abilities and his strength. And that's exactly what it is. It's just he's punching the air and shooting attacks at him, similar to what he was doing earlier. So he is going to be hitting him thousands of times over with these attacks like a Gatling gun, almost like Luffy's Gum Gum Gatling. But Peppino easily dodges all of them, and that's because he is basically analyzing where these punches are going to end up, where they're going to drop, and he's just moving casually out of the way. So this attack, this final finisher attack, he's completely dodging it like he's got Ultra Instinct. And so he decides, you know what, I'm going to go with a Giant Blast, and if you move out of the way and try to, try to dodge this one, it'll kill not only whatever planet this is that we're on, but it'll kill Bulma as well. No choice but to stop this attack cold in its tracks. He says he can't lose, not now, not when everybody is counting on him. And I mean, he's gone above and beyond here, way more powerful than any of the other Saiyans really that we've seen so far that were defending Bulma. So he is their trump card. He says that just let it happen. Just lie down, don't worry, I'm gonna drop you, I'm gonna take away your pain, you don't gotta worry about nothing, just let this happen. And Peppino yells out, Salaga, Master of Dimensions, you've already lost. To everybody's surprise, Peppino had shot through the blast with his own abilities, threw it like a knife, and this cuts right into the dead center of Salaga. And what ended up happening is the first use of non-ki attack against someone wielding ki. Ki is not supposed to harm Salaga. Yeah, he knew that, and he knew that he would know that, so he would be left wide open essentially for a artificial attack, one made out of his buddy, basically the guy whose armor he's wearing. This is just made out of it. It's just a giant spear, and that's exactly what ended up happening. It cut right through the attack and shot right through Salaga's heart. He says, "Here we are at the conclusion, Salaga," and Salaga says, "Well done, Hybrid. I must admit, you've won." And that is the end of this chapter. What a crazy battle, guys. This is the end of this fight. This fight has been going on for at least 3 or 4 chapters at this point, and I'm just so glad that we got to see the ending of it. I'm very, very pleased with it. I'm glad that the science user basically beat out the magic user on this, but let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. I'm just ready to get back to Venerable Air, Vegeta, and Broly.
Subscribe for more content. Or perish.